Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing so well today. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and joining me today. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing the 11 most haunted places in Minnesota. So welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're joining me today and you're new. My name is Molly and I hope that you'll decide to stick around and subscribe and click the post notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload, which is every Wednesday and Sunday. So without further ado, let's get into the haunted places. So I did a little research and this website actually has all 11 haunted places. So I'm sure that there's many other haunted places in Minnesota, but these are 11 of them. So before starting off with number 11, this is from hauntedroomsamerica.com, and I'll have this article linked down below if you want to read and have more information about their website. So number 11, Washington Street Bridge, Minneapolis. Washington Street Bridge was built in the latter half of the 1960s, spanning the Mississippi River and connecting the East and West Bank campuses of the University of Minnesota. The bridge has two decks, the bottom for vehicles and the top for pedestrians and cyclists. The bridge is something of a hot spot for suicides and is now said to be haunted by spirits of those who jumped to their death, including Professor John Berryman, who committed suicide there in 1972. Students crossing the bridge say they often hear phantom footsteps at night and feel as though someone is watching them from the shadows. So I've actually been across this bridge before, and it's pretty creepy. I think crossing bridges is creepy already, but this one has a feel. Number 10. The Fitzgerald Theater, St. Paul. The Fitzgerald Theater in St. Paul has long been considered one of the most haunted places in Minnesota. There is a number of unexplained phenomena that have been reported there, but most of them are pinned on a former stagehand known only as Ben. It is believed that Ben died in the theater in the 1940s, and he seems to have been hanging around ever since. His shadow has often been spotted moving up in the workings of the stage, and cold spots are felt near an old entrance, which has been boarded up for years. Staff often say they can hear Ben dropping his empty beer bottles too. He is considered pretty harmless for the most part, but on one occasion he did almost kill 2 workers when he dropped a massive chunk of plaster on them from an overhead catwalk. Thankfully, they both managed to jump out of the way at the last minute. Ben seems quite the reckless ghost. Number 9. The Warden's House, Stillwater, Minnesota. Over the years, there have been 13 different wardens from Stillwater State Prison who have occupied this house. However, the one resident who seems to have decided to stick around is Warden Henry Wolfer's daughter. The story goes that Gertrude had just given birth to a son when she died suddenly of appendicitis. The little boy was sent to live with the warden up until the Wolfers moved out in 1914. It seems that Gertrude may have gone with her son to his grandfather's house, but she did not leave when he did. In fact, from 1914 until the present day, there have been persistent reports of a lady wandering the rooms of the house in search of her infant son. Sometimes she is seen looking out of the windows, and at other times, a cradle in the upstairs bedroom rocks on its own. Number 8. Paws Restaurant, St. Paul. I hope I said that right. Oh my gosh, I've driven past this, you guys. This is actually, wow, it's beautiful. You'll see it in the photos. The building in St. Paul, which now houses Paws Restaurant, was once a 3-story Victorian mansion that wholesale magnate Joseph Paws built for his family. However, in 1892, things took a tragic turn for the family. Mrs. Paws is said to have discovered her husband in bed with the family maid Molly. How ironic. That is, my name. Paws shot himself when his wife ended the marriage, and his mistress Molly was heartbroken. She was apparently pregnant with his child and ended up hanging herself from a chandelier in one of the bedrooms. Oh my gosh. Both Joseph and Molly are said to haunt the restaurant today. The two of them have been seen walking through the dining areas, but it is Molly who seems to be the most active. She is said to bang on the insides of the walls and to smash glasses. Patrons have also smelled her favorite lavender perfume at times. She's especially mischievous around Halloween, which was Molly's favorite time of year when she was alive. Looks like we have things in common besides that major turn of events that I just talked about. Number 7. Greyhound Bus Museum, Hibbing. The Greyhound Bus Museum in Hibbing, Minnesota is probably not the first place you might think of when it comes to a haunted location, but nevertheless is one of the most haunted places in Minnesota. Staff at the museum say that one particular scenic cruise, 4501, is home to a spirit who frequently opens and closes the windows and doors of the bus. There are also regular sightings of strange shadows flitting around on the 9 bus. and the voice of a little girl has been heard in the shadows between the old vehicles on display here. First Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've heard about First Ave being quite haunted. I've been there for a few concerts. It's very famous. Perhaps one of the most grisly paranormal tales comes from Minneapolis and the iconic First Avenue music venue. It is said that a blonde woman took her own life in the 5th stall of the ladies' bathroom by hanging herself. On occasion, she has shown herself to unlucky patrons who see her bloated apparition still hanging there from her makeshift noose. However, she is not alone in the venue. Staff have nicknamed another spirit Slippy. This particular entity is said to make a balloon appear from nowhere, which then floats up and down the staircase on its own. There's also a great deal of other unexplained activity, including equipment malfunctions and random destruction of property. Number 5. Gibbs Farmhouse, St. Paul. Another one of the most haunted places in Minnesota, which can be found in St. Paul, is Gibbs Farmhouse. In 1867, a 9-year-old Willie Gibbs faced a raging prairie fire that threatened to engulf the family farmhouse. The house was spared, but sadly young Willie died of smoke inhalation soon afterward. However, he appears to have stuck close to his family home, which is now a museum, and his spirit is every bit as boisterous as you might expect the average 9-year-old boy to be. He is known to remove toys from locked display cabinets and leave them scattered across the floor for staff to tidy up. He also likes to open and close cabinet doors and is capable of making quite a noise, rocking back and forth in a rocking chair upstairs. Some even claim to have seen his little face peering at them from the windows as they walk by. Number 4. The Palmer House Hotel, Sauk Center. The Palmer House Hotel has long been known as one of the most haunted places in Minnesota. Reports of paranormal have been made since the 1950s, and there have been a variety of unexplained occurrences in the building. Some of these include an apparition of a young boy, a ball bouncing down the stairs, disembodied voices, and some poltergeist activity. There have also been reports that the ghost of famous author Sinclair Lewis may also be haunting the building. Number 3. Wabasha Street Caves, St. Paul. Back to St. Paul again, this time to the Wabasha Street Caves. During the Prohibition era, these caves were said to host a number of famous figures, including John Dillinger and Ma Baker, when they were used as a speakeasy. However, not everyone left the caves alive. It is said that the caves are now haunted by the spirits of 3 gangsters who were murdered in a back room and buried under the cement floors. The owner has frequently encountered men in 20s style attire, as well as strange mist floating through the halls. There is also said to be a ghostly bartender who will refill empty wine glasses. Others have spotted the apparition of a madam known as Nina Clifford, who appears wearing period dress. Number 2. Minneapolis City Hall, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Minneapolis City Hall was the site of a historic execution. In 1898, John Moshik was the last man to be hanged at City Hall. His death will be remembered not just for being the last, but also because the execution was particularly brutal. The process was bungled, and Moshik took 3 minutes to die. His crime had been murdering a man over a measly $14. It is said today that Moshik's angry spirit haunts 3 locations in City Hall: the courtroom in which he was convicted, the mayor's office, and the site of his hanging. He seems to have mood swings because at his most harmless, he is known to rearrange pictures or appear to staff or prisoners dressed only in his undergarments, but on his worst days, he has made judges and attorneys severely ill. And the last but not least, number 1, Gray Cloud Island, Washington County. One of the key features of Gray Cloud Island is that it has the highest concentration of Native American burial mounds of anywhere in the United States. These days, the island is very sparsely populated, and the residents do not take kindly to ghost hunters. So much so that some have claimed to be run off the island by a man in a white truck. However, this does not stop a large number of ghost stories coming off the island. There are reports of transparent motorcyclists, a young woman weeping for her deceased infant, and a plethora of other ghosts. Perhaps strangest of all is the rumors about why the residents are so protective of the island. Some say that the church camp on the island is a cult, or even a secret KKK camp. That is actually really creepy and terrifying. Alright, so that concludes the 11 most haunted places in Minnesota. Most of them were new to me, and I knew that St. Paul and Minneapolis had some deep history for sure, but not so gruesome as I was reading. That's so crazy. I've driven past a few of those places before, so it's kind of cool to now know that they were a little haunted. So if you like this video, don't forget to like it and comment down below the place that you'd want to spend the night. I'm curious if you would want to any of these places. And again, I'll have the article link down below if you want to check out their website. And I hope that I'll see you in my next video on Sunday. Alright, see you next time. Bye!